I've had a pretty interesting life story from day one. Well, actually, it started before day one. My sister, brother, and I shared the womb for 9 months before we were dubbed Baby A, Baby B, and Baby C. I was Baby B. Being born a triplet is wild. And like many things, it has its pluses and minuses. One positive for me was that I grew up having my 2 best friends with me all the time. However, since we were born 12 weeks early, all 3 of us developed cerebral palsy. My best friend Matt, who also has CP, likes to say CP is like ordering your body off of Wish instead of Amazon. The CDC defines CP as a group of disorders that affect a person's ability to move and maintain balance and posture. It is also the most common motor disability in childhood. Cerebral refers to the brain, and palsy refers to muscle weakness or paralysis. In my specific case, CP looks like falling down if I sneeze too hard while standing, dropping things, and legs and back spasms when I'm tired or cold. And did I mention peeing my pants randomly? I've peed my pants in Disney World. It's okay, I laugh about it every time I tell the story. Since my siblings struggled with the same things I did growing up, I never realized I was different. Having leg braces and walking funny, that was my normal. Well, preschool was a rude awakening. One of my earliest memories was my first day of school. When I was almost 3 years old, I walked in the door, pulling my walker behind me, my aide just a few steps behind. And then it happened. I took 1 step into Mrs. T's classroom, and 20 pairs of eyes stared back at me. In that moment, I took a deep breath, looked at my feet, and thought to myself, all right, I'm on an island. I'll have to do this myself. As unfortunate as this sounds, this is the reality for most of us with disabilities. Functioning in a world that isn't made for you is a big shit sandwich. This reality is exhausting, and to be frank, society forced me to stand up for myself and to become independent. Sure, it's part of my personality, but sometimes I wish I could turn that part of me off. Sometimes I wish I didn't walk funny. When I was little, all I wanted to do was be able to safely go down the slide without help. I wanted to be able to run and play on the playground with my friends, but I walked slower. I couldn't play tag, I'd get too tired and couldn't keep up. Walking on wood chips on the playground was hard. My feet didn't, and if I'm honest, still don't, know how to walk on something uneven without tripping me. I wished I didn't have to have PE adapted for me so that I could participate. I couldn't go outside and play in the snow because I would get too cold and my muscles would shake and become painful. Yet, I wanted kids to see me for who I was. I was a girl who liked baby dolls, drawing, and playing house. My favorite color was, and still is, pink. Yet, all they saw was the walker, crutches, and leg braces. When I was in 2nd or 3rd grade, kids started calling me the Penguin because of how I walked. I waddle. It's fine. I truly don't know any different. This is my normal. Kids would taunt me when I came down the hallway. Here comes the penguin. Well, as I got older, I started to learn about penguins. Did you know they mate for life and take care of one another? They carry things using their feet. I carry things with my knees when I'm in my chair. As I got older, I decided to take power back from those little meanie heads. When I left home to go to college, I had a sign that hung on my door that said Penguin Crossing. It looks like a caution sign, and to this day, it still hangs on the wall in my bedroom at my parents' house. I saw that sign every day. That sign was a reminder that labels didn't define me. I could create my own reality, and the only definition of me that matters is the true one. I create. My diagnosis came with certain restrictions and expectations. It will be hard to live independently. It will be difficult to find a loving partner. And the Mac Daddy of them all, it will be near impossible to have your own children. Well, I stand, or sit, as it were, before you today and tell you my husband and I are parents to an able-bodied, beautiful little boy. And man, oh man, does that come with its own set of challenges and chaos. I know many young moms belong to mothers groups to connect with their peers. As a millennial, I automatically go to two spots for support: Reddit and Facebook. There are groups and subreddits for everything from corgis to stupid shit your children did. Sure, there are parenting advice forums. Those are a dime a dozen. But as I was looking for support before I had my nugget, I couldn't find what I needed. Sure, I found plenty of groups out there, but I needed a group of mamas that have disabilities. My search was fruitless. There were no groups on Facebook or pages on Reddit for parents with disabilities like mine. I was flabbergasted. Wheelchair users have access challenges everywhere. And quite frankly, caring for our own children should not be one of them. Having CP has taught me to get creative when I do things, but it takes time to figure out what works. Thankfully, I was able to reach out to a few of my wheelie friends that are also parents and find out what worked for them. But what happens when someone is newly in a chair or doesn't know anyone else who uses a chair who also cares for small children? Sure, we all have to adapt. That's part of parenting and especially disability life. But just once, it would be nice to have a resource to go to that offers suggestions and tips from people that have been through it. It seems the world wasn't quite ready for parents with disabilities like mine. You see, I am living in one of the first generations of people with CP to make it to adulthood. So, we need to come together as a society to normalize moms, dads, and families with disabilities. I would like to take my son to the store without getting the questioning stares. During one such shopping trip, I was actually asked by a stranger if he was my son or if I was babysitting. What? As I calmly answered, yes, he's mine, what I really wanted to say was, yes, he's my son. Would you like to see my leaky boobs and C-section scar as proof? Look, I didn't come here to give you a PSA on ADA laws or the need for more accessibility. I didn't come here to brag about everything I have overcome so you can feel inspired. I'm not here to be your inspiration porn. I am just trying to live my life as normally as everyone else, challenges and all. I am trying to focus on all the great things I have in my life. I have an amazing family. My siblings and parents have taught me countless lessons. One of the most important lessons I learned was to see that every person has value and something to offer the world. My husband, Will, is truly my rock. No matter the day we've both had, he is there to listen and help me pick up the slack. He's also the first to recognize my limits and encourage me to take time for myself. And I grew up in a community where I saw myself. In a community of scholars and educators, I saw people like me. Society tried to put me in a box for their comfort. But because I grew up right here in this community, I saw people like me doing incredible things and making something of themselves. I now have a small trinket plate with a penguin on it sitting near my kitchen sink that holds my wedding rings when I'm cooking or baking for my family. That penguin plate with those rings on it reminds me every day that I defied everyone's expectations. I am a wife, a mom, a sister, a student, an advocate, and so much more, and still a penguin. But I'm a proud penguin.